Here's one where we don't know how the story ends. This is a fascinating game to me, Ari. South Carolina goes to Kentucky. Kentucky is a 9.5-point favorite at home. SEC opener for both teams. Kentucky looked very good against Southern Miss in the Brock Vandagriff debut game. South Carolina looked very iffy against Old Dominion in the Lanorris Sellers debut game. Yet, I'm not sure anything we saw this past Saturday will inform what we're going to see this Saturday.
Yeah. Kentucky was kind of cooking with jet fuel on Saturday. They won 31-0, and I think basically the entire second half of their game was canceled. So that's really encouraging. But like the thing that I always have a hard time with, Andy, is how much can you extrapolate from South Carolina's game? Like, do you think South Carolina was sleepwalking? It was a tough opener. They were knocking the rust off. They're much better than they showed. Or do you think, and this is a problem we had when picking the Michigan game, like that the Fresno State game and South Carolina's tough opener tell you anything about what that team is going to be? Like, I struggle with that a lot in week 2. Like Old Dominion almost beating them. Does that to you a symptom of a problem that's going to be exposed on Saturday? Or do you think we're going to get a really good SEC game against two teams fired up to take a step forward this year?
Prize Picks is the best daily fantasy game in America. Use that code Staples. Play $5, get $50 instantly. And so let's take us back to Saturday. I was using a demon square with Quinn Ewers and Sam Levitt. So Quinn Ewers was playing against Colorado State. I knew he was going to have a good game. My question was, will it be too good? And he gets pulled really early. And then Sam Levitt's the Arizona State quarterback. And obviously he had a good game, but at that point it didn't matter because Quinn Ewers got pulled just before he could go more than 299.5 yards. The demon squares on Prize Picks, those are a little more difficult to get, but the potential payout is higher. That's how Prize Picks work. You pick squares and you say, I think this person's going to do more than this or less than this. You pick at least 2. You can go as high as 5. And the more you pick, the higher the potential payout. I did win one, though. I went Dylan Raiola more than 235.5 passing yards. Lanorris Sellers, the South Carolina quarterback, more than 40.5 rushing yards. And Nick Singleton, the Penn State running back, more than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. So that one, a $50 play, wins you $250. That's how Prize Picks work. It is so much fun. It really livens up a Saturday or a Sunday, NFL obviously. I mean, or any day, because they've got everything. They have gaming, like League of Legends, like they've got all of it. So yeah, download Prize Picks now. Play $5, get $50 instantly with the code Staples. They've got the free squares. It's a Caleb Williams free square right now for the first NFL games this week, where it's basically more than 0.5 passing yards. So if you pick that one, you're going to get that square as long as Caleb Williams completes one pass, and I think he's probably going to complete a few. So download that Prize Picks app. Use code Staples. Also, there may be a little styles make fights in this thing, because would you agree that South Carolina probably didn't have a better team than Kentucky the last 2 years, and yet Shane Beamer beat Mark Stoops the last 2 years? It's sort of, and then Mark Stoops has that with Billy Napier at Florida, where his style just they're better than Florida at that style. But for whatever reason, and Stoops has said some things about Shane Beamer, and Shane Beamer has fired back after beating him the last 2 years. So I don't know where to go with this one, Ari. I think I do know where to go with this, because 9.5 is so many freaking points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking South Carolina just because it's a pretty big spread, and
right, that's the only reason.
Yeah, I also too, like our boy Cody Belair, I really, really like Lanorris Sellers. I think that he's a person that can create and problem solve and extend drives and do things that, help your team find some points. And I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to overreact to the Old Dominion game, especially because Old Dominion over the years has proven that they can hang with teams early in the season from the P5, P4. And really be a pain in their ass. So like, I think that
Yeah.
Kentucky is probably going to win the game. I like Kentucky to win it. I don't know if they're going to win by double digits.
Yeah, that's the thing. The only reason I'm taking South Carolina is that spread is so high. I do think Kentucky's going to win this. I like their playmakers. I like the offense they've built around Brock Vandagriff. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys this year. And they also strike me as a team that can beat somebody down the road where you're not expecting it. It's just that I really struggle with when you've got conference opponents that have fairly similar talent levels and you have one favored by almost double digits. This almost an automatic pick for me.
Yeah. And Kentucky has some pretty big stuff coming up down the pike here. I mean, the 1-2 punch with Ohio is a spacer there between Georgia and at Ole Miss is kind of a tough situation. So you want them,
and they play Georgia right after this game.
Right.
So,
that's what I'm saying. So you want to, if you're a Kentucky fan, to at least get off to a good start, get the 2-0 and try to feel good going into the Georgia game. I think that they will win the game. I just don't know if I'm at the point right now where I'm like, Kentucky is just going to kick everyone's ass that isn't Georgia and Alabama on their schedule. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they still have some physical limitations that teams that South Carolina can match up with.
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.